Hey guys, you watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and in this video, I want to do a follow-up for my Get Home, Bug Out, Never Come Home bag system that I started sharing in a video a little while back. Now, I actually want this to become an ongoing series where I continually augment this and share the suggestions that you guys have and the things that you say you have in your kits to continually help everybody hone the things that they think they need to have in their car or on their person on a day-to-day basis. Now, I don't think that prepping is all about bags for everyday carry or gear. There are a lot of different aspects to it. But having all the things that could help you face any challenge you might face throughout everyday life, everyday challenges, or extraordinary challenges is a really good idea. And the car kit bag is a really good option. Now, in this video, I'm going to focus on my grab bag rather than the multi-tiered system that I normally keep in my car. But after making that last video, I realized that it was actually incomplete. A good few months ago, I ran into a homeless person, OJ, who played the harmonica for me, gave me a little lesson, and in exchange, I gave him some of the stuff that might help him in his transient lifestyle that came out of my bag. And I totally forgot to replace that stuff, which is a big oopsie on my part because it was some pretty vital stuff, including a mini Sawyer water filter, my food, and some other pretty handy things. I'll link to that video down below because it was pretty interesting. Anyways, between the things that I had forgotten that I had taken out of my kit, the things that I never put in there but meant to, and a lot of really good suggestions from you guys, I've got some additions and replacements to go into this kit. So the additions, or things that at least weren't in it last time around, are going to be the mini Sawyer water filter. And that's going to augment the water tablets, which I did have in there already. I guess I didn't mention them or didn't mention them well enough because that was one of the main things that I heard from a lot of you guys. Now, I haven't tried these AquaCure tablets, and I actually probably should. I got them from a reputable sports warehouse, and they claim to kill Giardia, bacteria, and viruses and remove sediment through flocculation, which means they collect and fall to the bottom. I think between that and the water, or the coffee filters, which I have somewhere in here, between the coffee filters, the tablets, and the mini Sawyer, that's a pretty good water system for an emergency grab and run bag in an area that has abundant clean water. Now, along the vein of water, I carry 3 of these in my everyday carry. In my work bag, I carry a blue one for juice, my aloe vera juice that helps calm my stomach. If any of you have stomach problems, I highly suggest it. A red one for my coffee, and a silver one for my water. So between these 3 single-walled stainless steel bottles, I have pretty good options for being able to boil water, and I would not go without at least my water bottle. And if I had the time, I'd also grab my daily water jug. Now, a tarp is among the things that I gave away to OJ, and as many of you pointed out, I do believe that this is a necessary addition. Now, as the winter months are approaching, I will be strapping my sleeping bag onto the outside of this thing, but for most of the year, I would actually go without that. Simply wrapping myself tight in this and adding any extra clothes that I had with me should keep me warm for the few hours that I'll be sleeping when I'm on the run. I do want to point out that when your adrenaline is high, when you're in an emergency situation, and when you have stuff to get done, you're not going to be sleeping much. You might not even be eating too much, although you definitely need to make yourself. But for the first 2 or 3 days of an emergency situation, it will probably be pretty hard to sleep, especially if you're on the go and wrapping yourself up in a tent under a bush. So being comfortable or settling in for a long night's sleep might be out of the question anyways. But since it's going to get below freezing, I'm going to add the sleeping bag. Now, I had this propane tank in the bigger bag, but I've decided to add it to this just because there's so many useful things to have blowtorch for, whether that be cooking, defeating locks, or what have you. sewing kit is among the things that I gave away to OJ. Now, unfortunately, the military surplus store in my town moved away over to the town that I moved here from, and I got my really good sewing kit from them. But that one should do for now. Now, I also gave OJ not one of these, but a few fruit protein bars. So I went ahead and replaced those. I got another one of these, but when I opened the kit, I found that somehow the one that was already in there had received a puncture. It was no longer sealed. So I'm going to have to replace that and be a little more careful with this one. Bug Out Bubba suggested, as per our conversation, that I add some moleskin. So I went ahead and picked that up. I did another video on those, which I'll share later. I'm going to throw some moleskin in this bag. One of you suggested some large nails, which I have somewhere else in my kit. I think in the third foot locker, the second foot locker that I had never shared. But those are definitely something that's very handy to have with you. So, some very large nails. Also in the second foot locker, I do have a map of my state of Idaho. But I went ahead and picked up an Idaho and a Washington map to keep in this one. One of you suggested that I have a sterno stove to go along with the sterno that I have throughout my kit, but somehow didn't get put back into this bag. So I'm going to add some sterno back in there and keep this stove in there, which I shared recently in a past video. This will allow me to cook things over sterno or candles or sticks or whatever I have. Bug Out Bubba gave me this compass, sent it with Prepper's daughter last time she came up here. So definitely needed one to go in this kit. I think I gave one away to OJ whenever I met him. Pretty sure I did. But now I've got one. Now, one of you suggested that I replace this wire clothesline with something lighter. So I did. I went ahead and grabbed some of my paracord, military paracord. And if I get the time, I'm going to bundle that up into a donut. Now, I do think that it's very handy to have metal wire because there are a few different purposes for that. It can't be chewed through. It can't be as easily frayed through as paracord can. So for a few different purposes, I do like having the metal wire nearby. But you're right. I don't necessarily want to carry it in my grab and run bag. Some more food bars. These are just some meal cookies there. I added some granola. So I think that I've more than replaced the food that I had in there before I met OJ. I don't think I had too much. And I do believe that having some ready-to-go food and water is a pretty important option for a go bag. One of you asked about a headlamp. There was indeed a headlamp. In fact, a couple in there. And I think that's the majority of the things that I added. Someone did mention or ask about a whistle. Had a whistle. One of you mentioned redundancy of knives and a couple other things. Now, largely this bag is just for me, but there's likely to be coworkers or other people around me, and I might want to be able to hand them at least some bare essentials. And to me, a knife is a bare essential because with it, you can get at or produce other things of use. So by and large, I think that's the majority of the additions to this bag. So real quick, I'll run through what I've got in here and see what additions or subtractions you guys would suggest. So I've got a headlamp, 4 tent stakes, a whistle, a pair of gloves and a hat, paracord, 2,400 calorie food bar, 3 protein bars, 4 protein and meal cookies, compass, flashlight radio, all-weather notebook, hatchet, sewing kit, moleskin patches, blowtorch, 4 N95 masks, 2 protective goggles, zip ties, heavy nails, sterno stove. I will be adding sterno. Maps of my area. Granola, peanut butter, coffee and Cliff energy gels, rain poncho, oatmeal and meal drink mixes, some almond butter, binoculars, kitchen knife, mess kit, razor knives, another razor knife, pocket reference guide, flashlight, another headlamp, 2 matches and stormproof matches, or lighters and stormproof matches, small roll of toilet paper. I'm going to dig out some of the expanding tablet tissues, add those in there as well. Pair of vice grips and a thermometer. A mini Sawyer and aqua tabs along with coffee filters, a sleeping bag, and a tarp. With me at all times, I do have stainless steel bottles. I'm curious if you guys think they need to be in the bag or if my everyday carry counts, because I also do have a large amount of water nearby. Of course, this does not count everything that I keep in my car at all times, and that's always near enough to me that I would probably be able to get at it no matter where I am. Anyways, I want this to be the beginning of a conversation on everyday carry, emergency kits, and what emergency situations we plan to face with them. Love to hear your input. I'm not offended at all whenever you guys offer criticism. It's easily rejected or assimilated. So, hope you're all doing well. Everybody stay safe out there.